Right, in this video I want to talk about the best strike for a lady for self-defense situations. Now, obviously the worst case scenario for a woman is fighting off a man who's obviously trying to molest or assault her. Now, one of the worst problems for a woman, obviously a man is a lot bigger and stronger on average. There are exceptions, but generally men are obviously bigger and stronger. Also, our bones are a lot bigger than a lady's. So, you know, a lady's hands are relatively small and fragile compared to a man. Now, punches are all very well and good for a trained person, but even for a trained person, even when it's a good technique, if you catch the wrong place, you can you can quite easily break your knuckles. And some even like professional boxers have in real fights damaged their knuckles while hitting people. So particularly like if I'm facing Dawn, she goes to punch me and I put my head down. Now that is a really large bone, and it has evolved over eons to be thick and dense. Okay, some of it's more dense than others, but it's evolved to be a very thick, big bone. And these bones, well, even on a man, the knuckles are small, rather delicate bones. So if that hits there, you know, likely to break. Very high chance of breaking or damaging her own hand. And then it's very difficult for her to continue her defense. Now, there's an old saying in the martial arts, hard parts to soft parts to hard parts. So hard parts like your knuckles to soft parts like nose, cheekbone, neck. Soft parts like your palm heel, hammer fist to hard parts. Okay? Now, from a woman's point of view, I would say the best technique from a self-defense point of view is a palm heel strike. That way, wherever she hits me, if she hits me on the chin, it's going to do damage. Okay? If I put my head down, she hits me on top of the head. Okay? It still hurts me, but it doesn't hurt her because she's sitting with a padded part. Okay? Now, if Dawn steps into the fence position, please. Okay, now, if you're not familiar with the fence position, it's not a martial arts stance as such. This is a kind of passive body language anywhere in the world that I'm not looking for trouble. Okay, now the beauty of it from here, just briefly, I'll talk about it in another video. I'll put a link up there so you can see the other video with a bit more detail in it. But basically, she's controlling the space in the middle, while the aggressors normally peacocking, puffing themselves up. So she's got the advantage. So she doesn't look aggressive, I do, but her hand is already in the position for a palm heel strike. She doesn't have to change it. She doesn't have to close it halfway or do anything with it. If I come in too close, all she does is extend it like that. Okay, so it fits in, palm heel strike fits in lovely with the fence position. Okay, as soon as the guy gets too close, it's there. Okay. Now, the other thing I would say when you're doing this technique, your main target should be the chin. Okay? If she goes for the nose, then she might break my nose, but particularly if someone is pain resistant, if they're very highly adrenalized, if they're high on drugs, if they've had a lot of alcohol, people don't feel pain in the normal way. And you can have your nose broken and still continue. If you have your nose broken and you're pain resistant, you're going to be even more pissed off, which just made her situation even worse. Okay? Now, the thing is, your brain is in a sack of fluid inside the skull. So when she hits my jawline, my head goes flying back. When my head stops, the brain continues and bounces against the inside of the skull, which gives a relatively high chance of unconsciousness. So that's why the jawline is good. Okay? The other thing is, men are generally taller than women. So the higher up she goes, you know, the less power angle she's got. The lower she comes down, the more powerful she is. You know, higher up, less power, down there, more powerful. So again, fitting in with the chin, again, is more powerful for her. Now the other thing is, from there, if she does a palm heel against the chin, from there, her fingers are in the ideal place to go into my eyes. Okay? And from there, if she's got long fingernails, she can rake down. Now, some people may become, sticking fingers in eyes and scratching down with long fingernails. But if somebody's trying to rape you or molest you, you know, you've got to do whatever you can to survive. Okay? But I mean, again, if you do that again, I come in, she palm heels, just look at the position to go into the eyes and rake down. Okay? And again, generally women have better fingernails than men. So, ideal position for it. Right, the other thing is, if you want to strike low, the palm heel strike is quite good for that as well. The only thing is you have to turn your hand over. That's the only thing to remember. So if Dawn puts her hand out, okay, now there against the chin, yeah, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But if she strikes low, you can see the fingers are coming in before the palm reaches. So there is, if you've got a flexible wrist, you can get away with it. She's having to bend her elbow there to get the palm heel down. So she's having to bend her, if she keeps it straight, keeps the structure, yeah. So the fingers are being bent back before the palm heel is actually reaching. So the way around that is just to turn the palm heel to the side. It fits in just perfectly, okay? And she's got the floating ribs. Now, although men are bigger and stronger, okay, you can't really build much muscle around your floating ribs. Okay, that's one place where, you know, we can't really build it up. And a good strike there is still vulnerable. You could still use a close-in punch from there. There's no reason why you can't if you've got a good technique and good punch. You could still use that. But sometimes it's easier just keeping your hands open and just, rather than changing from one to the other, particularly when you're under pressure and you don't want to have to think about things. Some Chinese styles and some styles of jiu-jitsu don't do punches for the main reason we discussed earlier on. You might damage your hands. So it's palm out to the side. Now from the other thing from there, she can grab flesh if she wanted to increase the pain. So it's just like when you make a grip. Now she can hit me with the other hand, and as she's doing that, she can pull. So she's hitting me with one hand and flesh grabbing with the other. Okay? Now is not the highest probability technique, because if somebody is pain resistant, that's not going to cause them huge amounts of duress, but it can be enough to be a distraction and create another opening for you. Okay? Okay, the other thing is, which Dawn pointed out to me before we started this video, you can also do it with a loud voice control, which is also particularly good for women. And just like, stop! Okay, the body language, the voice, and again, it's a palm heel position. You could use it just like, stop! Or, as Dawn's going to demonstrate on me, stop! So you can either use it as a strike as somebody is coming in to stop them, or you could just use it as, with a voice control as found away where somebody's coming too close and you want them to stop. Okay, so it's either way you can use it. Now, I discussed earlier on about hitting along the jawline and the unconsciousness. I've done another video on the most vulnerable places to hit someone who is pain resistant. I'm going to put a link to that at the end of this video. There'll be a link to that video. And also talking about the fence position, I've done another video on that one, and that will be at the end of this video. So you can look into more detail on what we've just been talking about in this video. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and leave a comment below, because it all helps with the YouTube algorithm and gets these videos promoted on YouTube. And thank you very much.